After what happened in Week 14, this season just got a whole lot more interesting. Hey guys, Dave's Report here, and for Week 15 we have our last Thursday night game of the season, and a couple of Saturday games as well. Let's jump right in. Alright, our Thursday night game is going to be the Chargers taking on the Raiders. Raiders are coming off a big loss to the Indianapolis Colts. Their playoff hopes are not dead just yet, but if they don't turn around soon, it will be. And for the Chargers, finally was able to come up with a close victory last week. I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one. They desperately need this win to have a slim hope of making the playoffs. Buffalo's taking on Denver in the first Saturday game. For Buffalo, they're coming off a nice win against Pittsburgh, getting their second loss of the season, while Denver picked up a win against Carolina. I'm going to go with Buffalo on this one. They're one of the best teams in the NFL right now. Carolina's taking on Denver. Carolina has been in a lot of games this year, but they just have problems closing the game out. And for Green Bay, they now have the #1 seed in the NFC. That doesn't change. They pick up the win against Carolina. San Francisco's taking on Dallas. San Francisco, they're coming off a loss to Washington, while Dallas able to pick up a win against Cincinnati. This one is a tough one. San Francisco and Dallas, both of these teams have just had a lot of problems this year. Both of them have struggled with injuries. I'm going to go with Dallas on this one. Don't know why. I just am. Seattle's taking on Washington. Washington has sole possession of first place in the NFC East, while Seattle, coming off a win against the Jets, they absolutely destroyed them. I'm going to go with Seattle on this one. I say Russell Wilson makes the difference in the game. Chicago's taking on Minnesota. Battle of division rivals who were both 6-7. Chicago got off to a strong start. I mean a strong start. And now they've kind of cooled off. They've really cooled off. They're back to Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. While Minnesota, they started off really, really bad. And then they've risen up their game. I'm going to go with Minnesota on this one. New England's taking on Miami. For New England, they are out of the division race. They had won the division for so long, but they are out of it. That stops their streak. And Miami, they are in line for a playoff spot, but they are coming off a loss to KC, and they have a couple of teams right behind them. I'm going to go with Miami on this one. Jacksonville's taking on Baltimore. Baltimore had an intense win against Cleveland, one of the best games of the year. And Jacksonville, well, what can I say? They're 1-12, have not won a game since week 1. Baltimore, they might come out a little slow because that was an intense game, but I'm still going with them over Jacksonville. They take care of business. Tampa Bay's taking on Atlanta. Tampa Bay, they have been a little up and down this year, but they are still in line for a playoff spot. And Atlanta, after starting 0-5 and firing their head coach, they really have risen their game. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay on this one. Detroit's taking on Tennessee. For Tennessee, they have first place in the AFC South right now, but they've got to keep winning. They are tied with the Colts. They have the advantage. Detroit has been struggling all year long. I got to go with Tennessee on this one. Houston taking on Indianapolis. For Indianapolis, they've got to keep winning if they want that division crown. And for Houston, just one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL this year. Really disappointing after winning the division for 3 straight years. I'm going to go with Indianapolis on this one. Philadelphia's taking on Arizona. For Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts is going to get the start again. He led them to a win last week against New Orleans, while Arizona able to stop their losing streak last week, able to pick up a win. I'm going to go with Arizona on this one. Jets are taking on the Rams. Jets still do not have a victory, and they're coming off a terrible loss to the Seattle Seahawks, while the Rams, they have first place in the NFC West, and I'm going with them over the Jets. KC's taking on New Orleans. New Orleans lost the #1 seed last week, while KC has gained the #1 seed. For New Orleans, we don't know if Drew Brees is going to be able to play. You're hoping that he will, but you're not sure. And KC, they're just one of the best teams in the NFL, maybe the best team in the NFL, going with them over New Orleans. Cleveland's taking on the Giants. The Giants lost first place in the NFC East last week after they lost their game, while the Browns were not able to pull off a victory in really one of the best games of the year at home against Baltimore on Monday night. But the Browns just look like a playoff team. I'm going with the Browns over the Giants. And our Monday night game is going to be Pittsburgh taking on Cincinnati. For Pittsburgh, they have lost 2 straight, and they lead the league in drops right now. They lost the #1 seed. They're #2 right now. They've got to get back to winning. And for Cincinnati, they're playing their backup quarterback. It's been a tough season for them. They've only won 2 games. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh on this one. Alright guys, those were my picks for Week 15, and I'll see you next time.